Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to SBiz Saturdays. So happy that you are here today. Excuse me. Hey, Coach B Nasty, how are you? Good to see you here. So glad that you all are joining me this Saturday to talk about all the things. But really, we are going to talk about how to create powerful content that actually works. I have been producing content for a very long time. And in that time that I've been producing content, I've been able to navigate how to disperse it in a number of places just so people can find out where I am, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, right? And so, hello and welcome. I am Marla Renee Stewart, here live on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. You can leave them in the comments. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable, you can always DM me later with those. If you want to submit your question anonymously, you can submit it at qrco.de/lovetipsama. And I will be happy to, that's not the thing I was going for. Not love tips, but success AMA. So yeah, if you want to apply to my program, you can apply at successful.biz. That's SEXCESSFUL.biz. And of course, if you haven't gotten that shadow ban guide, please make sure you get that shadow ban guide. I'll be making a big announcement at the end of this talk today. So also, if you're not on my email list, please make sure you get on it. Question I have I done any Cougar Cub dynamic content? No, I have not. I have not done any Cougar Cub dynamic content. That's not really kind of in my lane, I guess, so to speak, of like what kind of content that I would be creating. Most of my content, especially when it comes to my Velvet Lips brand, is mostly around seduction, communication, skill enhancement, all of those things. So all the content that I produce is usually around sort of intimacy, romance, love, relationships, that kind of stuff. So, and I guess the reason why I haven't really done any Cougar Cub dynamic content, I think, is mostly because I don't really know much about it in a sense of, I know like what it is per se, but I don't, that's not necessarily who my audience is. So so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But thank you for the question though. Excuse me. Take a drink of water real quick. So, excuse me. With that said, today we're going to be talking about how to create powerful content, right? And one of the things, basically, I kind of broke this down into kind of step by step on like things that you should be doing. And excuse me, goodness gracious. One of the things that you want to do is you want to brainstorm topics you want to explore, things you want to do, things you want to make a list of, right? So if you want to do Cougar Cub dynamic content, then that would be one of your subjects. So thinking about all the different subjects. So say we wanted to do Cougar Cub dynamic content. Well, what we would do is you would start to research, right? Happy Sexy Saturday, Parish, official Sexy Spirit TV. Thank you for joining. So when you are looking for stuff to research, you're going to look on Google Scholar, right? You want to get some academic articles, some peer-reviewed research, that kind of stuff. You also want to do maybe like an RSS feeder. Like if you don't have an RSS feeder, use like Feedly, InnoReader, any of those places, and look for keywords topics. So you could put in the keyword or track topics such as, cougar cub dynamic kind of thing, right? And see how things sort of populate on your feeder. You can also follow people, right? People who are who already make cougar cub content, thought leaders, cultural critics, any kind of news maybe that's happening in the industry. Like doing all of that research is going to be super, super helpful. So Coach P. Nice says, I don't mind being your cub and creating content with you, especially communication wise. I see. Yes, thank you. I think it's interesting. And we're going to talk about sort of collaborative kind of work together. In general, collaborating with people. But yeah, step one, be thorough with your research, right? So go research the topic, see what comes up, see what's out there. And then once you've kind of gathered all of that research, what's really helpful is if you just start writing, write down some content. So, excuse me, this means posting blogs on your website. Maybe it's submitting articles to like Medium, Substack, or some other niche friendly platforms, right? Maybe even FetLife, if we're talking about maybe cougar cub dynamics. Making sure you're using those linkbacks. So if you're doing research, making sure that you are properly using those linkbacks to ensure that like you can go it can go like those spiders can crawl, and make sure like it can rank you higher up on the website, on the Google. But creating that short form content, long form content, and you want to do that so you can repurpose that content. What's most important, especially when you are developing content, is to make sure you are consistent, right? Y'all know me almost every Saturday. I'm here at noon talking about my business stuff in adult brands, right? So consistency, you got to be consistent. And you can, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or if you're thinking about social media content and how you want to do that, whatever you're doing, just be consistent in how you're doing it, okay? That's one of the most important things that you should be doing. In addition, you want to think about how you can get all of that information out there. So again, think multi-channel, not sort of one and done. So where else can your content live? Where else can you post that? One strong blog, right, can be multiple things, which is, repurposing. But before we even think about that, like, hey, could this be an Instagram reel? Could this be a TikTok explainer video? Could this be a podcast or a Twitter thread? Black Betty, right, does great threads on like erotic short stories, right? Like do some really great threads. That's a really great way to produce content, right? And to get people to follow you and see what you're doing. LinkedIn carousels, YouTube shorts, any of those things will be great, right? Because the more you show up, the more your message is going to stick, the more your audience knows where you're going to be, right? Every Saturday, I'm here on Instagram, I'm here on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So super important to understand, hey, this is where I'm showing up at. You also want to track your KPIs, right? Your key performance indicators. So you want to know, hey, is this content to educate, entertain? Is it to stir the pot a little bit? Is it, are you aiming for shares? Are you aiming for saves, comments, likes, or conversions, right? Your call to action. What is your call to action doing? Is your call to action saying, hey, go back to this blog. Hey, go back to this thing. Making sure you have a call to action in every single piece that you do, right? Thank you, Parrish. Thank you so much for the great information. Very, very helpful. You're welcome. One thing you also want to do is engage like you mean it. Like I'm engaging in folks now who are talking to me via, this talk. Really engaging with them, thinking about, hey, are you going to reply to comments and to DMs? Are you going to host a live, right? Like I'm doing? Or maybe Q&As. Maybe you're going to crowdsource. I think a really great way to understand like what kind of content you want to do is crowdsource. So you could crowdsource future content ideas. So, hey, what do y'all want to learn about? What is something you want to know? That is really helpful for you to determine like, oh, hey, these are what people want from me. And so I'm going to deliver, right? You also want to break it up, spread it around, right? So if you think about one strong blog post, that can become 3 Instagram captions, right? It can become a live. It could become a tweet thread. It could become a podcast outline. It could become a newsletter, YouTube script, right? 10 to 15 quotes for carousels, right? If you want to do that kind of thing. So understand you can break it up, you can spread it around and do the content that resonates for your most, reliable source, right? Says we can make commercials promoting your convention. Absolutely. You absolutely can make commercials, right? Promoting convention. For our SDS Con, we do have a social media person and a PR person that does that thing, that does stuff for us. So I don't have to necessarily do that, but yes, if I think about my own content or ways to collaborate, absolutely. Commercials can be a great way to produce, to have content out there. And you can use that to, if you wanted to do a boost, right? So you could have that as an ad and have that go out to, a specific audience. If you're doing PR, I think it's really great to share your PR appearances, right? Share your media appearances on all the platforms, right? Write those. You can write companion blogs to maybe an excerpt that you've done for PR. Of course, making sure you include those linkbacks for SEO, adding even testimonials can really help fuel your content, right? So if people know, hey, you're doing the good work, that's going to be fabulous when it comes to how you are showing up, right? Another thing to do is to use a content calendar, right? To plan ahead. That's one of the best things you can do. So build a content calendar, daily, weekly, monthly themes to keep you organized. If you're not sure what to post, you can always base it off of like sexuality specific awareness dates. So, May is masturbation month, right? July is disability pride month. So all of these different months, we think about, October 21st, International Fisting Day, right? Or December 1st, World AIDS Day. So like all the different kind of specific type holidays that are that resonate with your brand. This is the way to build that content out, plan ahead of time, and literally just have evergreen content that can go on forever, right? So you want to just build that calendar, what your audience already cares about. And, think about when you're creating, intentional, well-researched, consistent content, you become a trusted voice, right? That builds up your rapport. Your audience learns from you, grows with you, and hopefully will come back for more. So just think about your content, formulate your content with your heart, your strategy, your sensual brilliance, right? And just know that you will be unforgettable. So, that is it for that. Cheers to your professional success there. But again, I got some comments here. Yes. Oh, thank you for the claps. Appreciate that. All right. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Thanks for being here. And can you ask a question? Absolutely. You can always ask a question. Please make sure if you want a question to be anonymous, you can submit that to qrco.de/successama, or I'm happy to answer any kind of question that you have in the comments. So please, anytime, I am here for it. Thank you all for being here today. Now, I said at the beginning of this conversation that I was going to have a big announcement. Well, this is the big announcement, y'all. The big announcement is that I am going to have a business marketing summit. Super excited. So, I had a business summit last year. This year, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to do basically sort of an intensive over 3 days. I have a couple of guest speakers, and we're going to go all in, right? We are going to ensure that you are going to be doing your best to get the information that you need, and we'll be doing that for 3 whole days. So that will be the beginning of July. So it will be called Liberated and Lucrative, the Business Marketing Summit. So I'm super excited to announce that, and just be on the lookout. If you're not on my email list already, please make sure you join my email list. And you can do that by going to velvetlips.kit.com/success signup. And I'm happy to post that a little later on. But yeah. So I hope you all are having an amazing Saturday. Happy Saturday. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in my DMs or comment. And if you haven't applied to be in my program, please do that. If you're ready to like move your business forward and you're just like, hey, this is what we need to do, you can go to successful.biz, and I am happy to, that's SEXCESSFUL.biz, and apply to my program and see if we are a good fit. If you don't mind me asking, have you rubbed any out yet this month? Of course. That is definitely part of my ritual. I think everybody should, right? It is Solo Pleasure Month. So make sure you are taking advantage of Solo Pleasure Month. I'll be talking more about that on Monday for Love Tips and Velvet Lips. So please join me at Velvet Lips Sex Ed, live here on Instagram, and of course, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. I'll be on there as well. So thank you all so much for joining me today. Have an amazing Saturday, and I will see you all hopefully next Saturday. All right. Bye, y'all.